Welcome, everyone. Let's get ready for some NBA basketball on 2K Sports. Along with Greg Anthony and Clark Kellogg, this is Kevin Harlan. The Pacer fans are making noise here in downtown Indianapolis, Indiana. Here we go. Tip-off goes to Milwaukee. We've got a chance here to set the floor, courtesy of Gatorade, all fueled up and ready to go for this one. Setting the floor for the Bucks. Filling out the wings, it's Middleton and Antetokounmpo. Jabari Parker is out there with Monroe. And it's Carter Williams in at the point. And, of course, Paul George, a lockdown and throw away the keys level defender. Voted all defense first team back in 2014.
Yeah, and listen, I think we're all anxious to see him get back to the level he was prior to that horrific injury he suffered doing USA basketball. And you know what? He's always going to have a chance to be the defensive player of the year. Let's just hope that this guy can get it all the way back, because he is a true credit to our game.
Young's shot is off. Indiana on D. We'll go to Dorisburg to spoke with head coach Jason Kidd. Doris, what's the news there?
I asked him what their focal point would be defensively, and he said that Al Jefferson is at the top of their scouting report. With his smooth, low-post repertoire and mid-range shooting touch, he can put up points in a hurry. He said they'll try to steer him to his left hand as much as possible and just hope for the best. Kevin, we'll see if they can force him into a tough night.
And thank you, Doris. Allen inside the three-point line. Yes, and it's Ellis picking up the assist. And it's the Bucks ball. Carter Williams kicks to Monroe. Antetokounmpo dishes to Parker. And the slam dunk by Antetokounmpo.
No way to mess that one up, Kevin. I mean, he powered it down with both hands.
Not this guy. He is a superb finisher.
And when he gets near the hoop, guys, he is a tour de force.
Now, here is Young. George, that's a two-pointer. That doesn't fall either. He's missed his first two shots tonight.
That's another miss. Already they've missed 3 out of 4 to start. And the double clutch layup in that situation, that's just him playing to the crowd, guys.
For Indiana, they've gone just 1 of 4 to get this game started. This one for 3. That doesn't go either for George.
They've had a cold start so far. Just 1 of 5 from the floor here early.
Middleton outside. Carter Williams against Ellis. 5 to shoot. Here's Monroe. Goes up high for the two-handed dunk.
And nobody, guys, among the defenders stepping up to challenge him on that drive to the 10.
And, Greg, he says, thank you very much, and sails in for the flush.
And those are the kind of sequences that tell you why the score is what it is.
So, timeout called here, the first for Indiana. One thing about Greg Monroe, he is a highly skilled big.
He really is. I love the fact that he can do so much. He can post you up. He can pop out and knock down the 15-footer. He's an outstanding passer. And at his size, those are skills that have served him and his teams well.
First quarter of basketball, just over 2.5 minutes play. Now George. Pass to Ellis. Feeds it to Allen. And he didn't get quite enough under that one.
And getting back to Greg Monroe, guys, he made some subtle strides last season. Best rebounding average of his career, up to 75% on his free throws. And how about this little nugget? Not one three-point attempt last season. That tells you he's starting to mature.
On defense, the Pacers. 6-point game. And the foul is called. He intentionally grabbed in there for some reason. I don't know.
Kevin, all I can think of is that he's trying to slow the game down a little bit.
Right.
That's a stretch, though. Definitely a strange move on his part.
And so they choose to intentionally foul.
And you know, with some people, they'll always find something wrong with Monroe's game. He'll never make the all-defensive team. He kind of looks like he's playing at half speed, but he produces, and he does it within the team confines.
And the Pacers call time here.
And And the Bucks arguably were the best story in the Eastern Conference last year. How about going from the bottom of the barrel to a 6th place finish in that Eastern Conference?
Here's Carter Williams. Jefferson with the double team. And Monroe kicks to Parker. Clock at 6. No good on his first attempt of the game. And for the Bucks, a lot of their improvement came, Greg, as you're talking about, in their play against the Eastern Conference. They went 30 and 22, Clark, against the rest of the conference.
A nice step for a young team, but you look at it more closely. Basically, the Bucks beat teams they should have beaten, but you know, Kevin, the good teams do that consistently, so a good step for them. Kevin, I didn't like that defensive effort at all, but they're lucky he missed it.
Yeah, you hope that's not indicative of the type of D they're going to play, because if they do, they're going to have struggles with him tonight.
Now here's Allen. Chris Middleton unable to get his last shot to go. Shot's good from Young. Now here's Carter Williams. He hasn't scored yet. That, I'm sure, will change. Middleton the pass to Parker. And lots of contact there. Missing the shot. He'll shoot 2. And Jabari Parker, as a rookie, drafted number 2 overall behind Andrew Wiggins. Clark, there was much debate about which of these players, which of these prospects would be better NBA players. What do you think?
Well, I think both showed they're very capable of being stars in the league. Parker got off to a great start, averaging 30 minutes a game until, unfortunately, he had the ACL. And Wiggins, conversely, went on to have a big-time season, winning Rookie of the Year.
Indiana making some changes. Hill comes in for Allen. Rodney Stuckey subbed in for Monte Ellis. Big group substitution here for Milwaukee. John Henson's checked in for Monroe. Mayo comes in for Antetokounmpo. Vasquez, he's checked in for Chris Middleton. And Jared Bayless subbed in for Michael Carter Williams. Mayo with it. George picks him up.
And when you compare Wiggins and Parker, really 2 different types of players. I mean, Wiggins has that unmatchable athleticism. Parker beats you with an incredible skill and passion. Also, tremendous maturity for such a young player.
Okay, gentlemen, 2 shots. 2 shots.
The first free throw is good.
And, you know, going back to Parker versus Wiggins, guys, I mean, that debate could last a long time. Both guys have the look of perennial all-stars. It could be the number of championship rings that ultimately separates them.
Mahimi's checked in for the Pacers. Hill comes in for George. And that one goes in. 2 from the line that time.
You know, for the Pacers last season, with Paul George being out for most of the season, they knew it would be a struggle. They would go into lengthy dry spells that made it hard for them to keep pace in the East, in part because they missed Paul George's all-around brilliance and his offense.
Milwaukee leading by 6. And the whistle blows. It's going to be on Jordan Hill. That's his first foul of the game, and the bonus will go to the free throw line.
Not the guy you want to send to the line, Kevin.
That's good from Bayless. As for those dry spells you mentioned about the Pacers, GA, they had a number of long losing streaks last season.
Yeah, as a team, they had 4 different losing streaks of 6 or more games, and they got hot at the end. Season-high win streak of 6 to stay playoff relevant. It was just too little, too late compared to their losing streaks earlier in the year. Not fazed at all by having a bigger defender on him down low, and I really thought he would be.
You know, at first glance, you wouldn't think that he'd be comfortable in that particular situation. But, boy, I tell you what, he didn't look like he was out of his element at all right there.
It's stolen by Vasquez. It's O.J. Mayo on the wing. A floater. Rebound by Mahimi.
Boy, he blew the easy 2 by profile. Trying to look good. That's a bad decision and poor execution.
Hill kicks to Hill. There's 31 seconds left in the first. Here's Bayless. And count it. 2 points with a chance for one more at the free throw line.
Defensively, they've been a step slow here to start.
Giving up too many open shots. I mean, that's what's happening here, Greg. They look to me to be a bit sluggish.
Yeah, and early on doing a really nice job at the free throw line.
Yeah, getting to the line and converting, Greg. That's the big thing. It's always good when you can do that because it stabilizes your offense.
Now, here is Young. Outside Hill. And Hill has it in the corner. It's stolen by Mayo. And he's going to get whistled for that foul. Gee, that was intentional, but not exactly logical.
How about pointless to foul there? I mean, I don't know where his head is, but it's not in the game.
He'll take his 3rd and 4th free throw shots of the game right here.
Really a good season for him overall last year when you look at the number, 83% from the line.
Guys, I thought he got into a groove last year at the charity stripe, and I thought he maintained it deep into the season as well.
Stuckey outside. And no good trying to get that one. And an overpowering first quarter effort. Already a double-digit advantage. Bucks lead by 13. Stay with us as we get set to bring you the second quarter right after this. And we heard from John Henson before the game, a player on the rise. He feels he still has a lot to prove.
Defensively, offensively, I think I'm better offensively than people give me credit for, and I'm stronger than I look. And that's something that I'm trying to prove this year, as I've been proving the last 3 or 4, so it's going to be fun.
Well, it sounds like he still feels like he has something to prove, Greg, but it seems to me he's already known for being that kind of guy.
Yeah, that's a great point. Anybody who plays against him knows he looks plenty strong when you're banging with him. But if he needs to push and motivate himself by playing with a chip on his shoulder, well, a lot of guys have gone a long way in this league using that method.
Welcome back, folks. We'll see if we're in store for a more tightly contested quarter as we move here into the second. And for the Bucks here, they've been putting a show on, guys.
They've gotten to the line with tremendous consistency here through the first period.
Yeah, this is how you can keep a crowd quiet, though, Greg. I mean, methodically score at the line and take some of that energy away from the fans. They don't like to have the action stop in the opposing team scoring.
They've got Paul George. Mahinmi is out there with Hill. Then there's C.J. Miles. And it's Young in at the point guard position. That's the 5 to begin the second quarter for the Pacers. Now, here is Monroe. The shot by Middleton, wide open. Off target from outside.
You know what, though? Sometimes you can be too open. I think it may have surprised him, and that's why he missed.
And Young kicks to George. George missing again.
You know, no doubt last year a bit of a loss for Paul George. I mean, had to sit out most of it after that gruesome leg injury in the Team USA scrimmage.
Here's Middleton. No scoring yet from him, but that's likely to change. 5 on the clock. Tries it from the top of the key. Shot is off. So Indiana will take it the other way. And thinking back on George's injury, still a very graphic image in everyone's mind, but he was able to bounce back.
Yeah, it was great to see him get some game time before the end of the season after that horrific injury. A credit to him working as hard as he did, as well as to the training staff that got him back to be able to play before the end of the season.
And Milwaukee calls their first time out of the game. Well, Clark, the Bucks.
They can't guard us on the perimeter. Spread the floor and isolate up top. Spacing, fellas. Spacing.
And rarely found themselves out of games on the road, which is a good sign for the future.
And for the Bucks, who only won 5 road games in 2014, last year's mark of 18 is a huge step forward. Still, they had problems last year as they had an 11-game road losing streak towards the end of the season.
And let's get this update now from Doris Burke, who's across the way on the sideline.
Thanks, Kevin. Jason Kidd had some words for his team over that last break. He told his guys that their offense needed to run through Monroe. coach is calling on him to play a big role in the offense for the rest of this game, to really be one of the key guys for them down the stretch. They're not going to wait for half, guys. They want those adjustments to have an impact right away. Over to you, Kevin.
Great. Thanks for the report, Doris.
Well, I tell you, the Bucs are taking steps in the right direction on the road. The problem is the franchise hasn't had a winning record on the road since 2001.
Their game plan needs to change if they're going to get out of this hole, because he is just not there offensively.
Well, the effort was there, but he just couldn't quite fight his way through traffic.
Now, here is Young. Chris Middleton unable to get his last shot to go. Here is Miles, defended by Middleton. George missing again. Bucks leading by 9. And we're now a little over 2.5 minutes into the second quarter. Here's Carter Williams. Misses, and the dry spell continues. The Pacers have gone 2 of 6 from the field in the second quarter so far. Young with the ball. Now guarded by Antetokounmpo. And Young kicks to Mahinmi. From 12 feet out. Indiana again missing. For Milwaukee, they've gotten off to a rough start here in the second quarter. 0 for 5. Henson with the screen. Right side Antetokounmpo. The feed to Monroe. Lets it go from 11. Works a big height bouncing, goes in. Monroe's got 6. Time called here. Indiana decides to talk it over. We talk about players who don't get.
They can't guard us on the perimeter. Spread the floor and isolate up top. Spacing, fellas. Spacing.
Really a revelation for the Bucks the last couple of years. He's a really good all-around forward who can do everything well.
And Middleton has improved every year as well. Added the three-point shot after the rookie season, which made him very tough to deal with offensively.
So an entirely new group in now for Indiana. Al Jefferson, he's checked in for Mahinmi. Lavoy Allen comes in for Jordan Hill. Ellis, he's checked in for C.J. Miles. Rodney Stuckey's subbed in for Young. Milwaukee also making some changes. Jabari Parker's checked in for Henson. Vasquez comes in for Chris Middleton. And Jared Bayless subbed in for Michael Carter-Williams. The dish to Bayless. That falls. Great assist by Vasquez. Bayless has got the lead up to 13 now for the Bucks.
And for Middleton, adding that three-point shot was huge. I mean, not only can he keep teams honest outside, but he hits over 40% of his shots from beyond the arc.
Now here's Stuckey. Quiet so far offensively, searching for his first points of the game. And finished off by Parker.
And that's how you make a steal count. Turn it into a quick slam at the other end.
It was really a case, it looked like Greg Anthony right there, if I can say so. It was really a case of a great defensive play triggering some instant offense.
Yeah, I remember GA as an irritant. And this guy, much like Greg, creating havoc out there.
Special thanks to Kia for that sweet Kia Slam Cam replay. And a look now at how the offensive approach has been going here so far for Milwaukee.
And they've made an effort to get to the line here in the first half, guys, and it's starting to pay off.
You know, it also hasn't taken them long to make their mark in the paint. I mean, they're doing a lot of their scoring from in there.
And the Bucks making a change here. Mayo's checked in.
You know, the Pacers ended up in 4th place in the Central Division last year, guys, and that's not quite what they were used to after taking the division the previous 2 years and getting to the Eastern Conference Finals in the playoffs.
And once again off the mark by Indiana. Bucks leading by 13. Monroe dishes to Vasquez. From deep three-point range, Paul George grabs the miss. Pacers have gone just 2 of 8 shooting here in the second quarter. Ellis left side for the 3. Rebound by Parker. Milwaukee's gone 0 of 2 from deep here in the second. Here's Mayo. Excellent D there from George.
That's terrific defense right there to prevent from converting in close.
Launches it. Stymied again with that miss. A subpar 2 for 10 for him.
The shooting numbers just aren't there yet in the quarter.
And stolen by Stuckey. 29 seconds left now here in the second. Right side George goes up on the wing. Basket is good. The assist from Stuckey. 6 points for Paul George.
He's really starting to ramp it up now, getting involved in the offense here after being held without a point in the first.
Here is Bayless. 9 points in the game so far. There's the pick. The drive by Monroe. An easy layup after coming off the pick. Monroe's got 4 points in the quarter.
Great job of screening there. Nice job to take it to the rim and get the finish.
The clock runs out, and we're heading to halftime. Bucks ahead. They lead by 13. Stay with us, folks. We'll get back just after halftime to start the third quarter.
And now, the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Well, 2 quarters down, 2 to go. Welcome back. Ernie Johnson, Shaquille O'Neal, and Kenny the Jet Smith as we start breaking it down for you. Milwaukee came out looking very confident. Their sharp focus and apparent preparation for the matchup helped them zero in on an 8-2 run off the tip. From their first bucket of the game to the end of the first quarter, they held on to that lead with an iron fist, never once giving it up. After a tough, hard-fought second quarter, the lead remained the same, and they still hold the double-digit advantage at the break. Shaq, let's get your take on Milwaukee.
They had a focus to working inside, and it's working, Ernie. They've done a great job of recognizing mismatches, a.k.a. barbecue chicken down low, taking advantage. He can't guard that man down there, Ernie. The entry passes have been sharp, and it's led to a lot of points. When you control the paint, you control the game, and they've done that so far.
And Kenny, let's get your input on the Pacers.
I look at the lack of free throw attempts as a key indicator. Because the funny thing about getting to the charity stripe, you have to earn it. You have to put your body in harm's way and be physically willing to take the hit. Right now, one team's playing aggressively and the other team isn't. That's the big difference in the score.
And that's it for halftime as the second half is just about to get underway. See you after the game.
As we begin the second half, first half wasn't even close, guys, and we'll see if there is a comeback on our hands or more of the same as we get the third quarter started. Pacers trail by 13. On the court for the Bucks, the dynamite pair of Antetokounmpo and Parker at forward. Carter Williams is the point with Middleton at the 2, and it's Monroe in at the 5.
Great way to start the half. Easy layup against some soft D.
The Pacers have gone 2 for 2 in the game at the line. The Indiana Pacers had a solid season last year, given they were without their star for most of it. They played well at home.
Yeah, even without Paul George, they were in contention. How about 23-18 at home, which is really a solid mark when you consider they didn't have their 2 best players from a season ago.
Now, here is George. Greg Monroe unable to get his shot to go. And here's Ellis from beyond the arc.
Fellas, that's exactly the job the big guy has to do for him. Contest every rebound.
And Parker gets it to go. The assist from Antetokounmpo. And that's now 6 points for Parker. Parker's gone 2 of 3 from the floor.
You know, for the Pacers and their 23-18 home record, that was better than several teams that made the playoffs in the East. They were very tough at home at the defensive end of the floor.
Back to Ellis. And that one's on target from the wing.
You know, he'll make you scratch your head and throw your hands up as a defender. I mean, you just don't know how to play him.
Carter Williams, the pass to Monroe. Six to shoot. Releases. Pacers with the rebound.
And the Pacers were 3rd in the league in field goal percentage against at home. Something about this crowd really drives the Pacers on the defensive end, even in a down year.
Now, here is Young. There's Ellis with the 3-ball, and that one's good. Ellis has got it back down to within single digits for Indiana.
And that's another assist for a team that is putting on a clinic on how to share the ball.
And I love the mentality that they've had. If a shot isn't there, they're not forcing it. They're moving it side to side until they finally get the one they want.
Now a timeout called by Milwaukee. Monte Ellis has always had a knack for the big shot. When things are on the line, he is a guy that is not afraid to step up.
And Kevin, last season, he had a number of big second halves and fourth quarters for the Mavs. Really took over that primary scoring role from Dirk Nowitzki. Stole a lot of games from him last season.
Henson's checked in for Greg Monroe. Bucks leading by 7. 2 minutes gone in this third quarter now. Here's Carter Williams on the money from 12 feet away. Young with the ball. Over in the corner, Ellis. Stolen by Middleton. To the paint. Here's Parker. And he drops in the layup off the glass. And now an 11-point Milwaukee lead.
That's the 10th straight point they've given up in the paint.
And, you know, it doesn't matter how good your defense is on the perimeter if you're going to allow easy ones inside like that.
Now, here is George. He has 6. Outside Jefferson. Shot clock at 5. And that one hits back iron.
They really depend on him to convert those chances. A lot of times, even with solid D draped on him, they expect him to make it.
They set the pick. Antetokounmpo against George. And it's Antetokounmpo penetrating. No good. Excellent D there from George. Pacers trail by 11. Young outside. There's the triple. And that one's good. Young's got 7.
There's PG creating for a teammate. Terrific dime drop.
The Bucks have gone 3 of 6 in the third quarter, 50% from the field. The Milwaukee Bucks ended last season 41 up and 41 down, a perfect 500 mark, and they were the epitome, Clark, of average at the end of the season, and as you can see, even during it.
Well, they're a young team, but at one point, 17-17, also had an 11-11 record against the East and 6-6 against the West.
Now, here is George. And Jefferson, here we go, takes it up with both hands and rips it down.
Now that's finishing your work right there.
Powerful two-hand jam. You're right.
And I tell you what, if he's got a few more of those in him, this lead will start shrinking even further.
And the Bucks with possession here. The Pacers making the shot. Carter Williams kicks to Parker. That's good. He's got 10.
And the Bucks were average last season. I mean, they were 17-17. Also 7-7 at home. 10-10 on the road.
Patience. Taking early threes.
They were 500.
And some changes here for the Pacers. Hill, he's checked in for George. Solomon Hill comes in for Lavoy Allen. Rodney Stuckey subbed in for Young. And then for Milwaukee, O.J. Mayo is checked in for Antetokounmpo. Vasquez comes in for Chris Middleton. And Jared Bayless subbed in for Carter Williams. Now here is Hill. On the wing, Stuckey. Good. The assist goes to Hill. Stuckey's got himself going with the triple, his first basket of the game.
You know, just thinking back to that Milwaukee factoid again, I mean, the odds that we'll ever see something like that happen again are minuscule. I mean, that team was just destined to end up 41-41.
All right, we'll take a look now at how the points have been generated so far. A scoring breakdown for the Bucks.
Anytime you get as many points in the paint as they have, you know you've got a good thing going, and you just want to keep it going.
They do, and you also see a lot of points have come off the dribble penetration. They've been aggressive on the bounce at attacking the defense.
Mahinmi's checked in for Jefferson. Well, for Jordan Hill, something wonderful happened to him last season. The breakthrough he'd been waiting for on his 6th year.
Yeah, Kevin, you know, it had to do, and I think correlated with him getting a chance to start games, and it blew up for him from there. Posted career-high averages across the board.
Now here's Vasquez. Looking for his first basket still in this one. They retain possession. And it's good. Pacers trail by 8. Here's Stuckey. Rebound, Milwaukee. Hanson's got his 3rd rebound tonight. Here's Mayo. Bayless dishes to Parker. And Bayless with the basket. The assist by Parker. Bayless has got 11 points.
They're doing a really good job of getting the ball inside and attacking the paint. That's an area they have completely dominated.
Well, once they recognized the advantage they had inside, it made a lot of sense just to continue to attack that area.
And no excuse there for missing that one after being freed up by a great pick.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, they came away empty, but they got the look they wanted, and really, I like the movement and communication there.
To the middle, Parker with the steal. And up the court come the Bucks on the break. It's deflected. Ellis outside. No good on the buzzer beater. And as we end the 3rd quarter, a double-digit deficit will make it tough to come back. Milwaukee on top as they dominate the last minutes of the quarter on an 8-0 run. And we'll have the start of the 4th quarter for you as soon as we get back from this short break. And we welcome you back as we get going here in the 4th quarter. The final quarter of play can change everything. Milwaukee leading by 13. We've got Allen. Young is up there with Solomon Hill. Then there's Al Jefferson. And it's George in at the small forward. That's the Pacers 5. Monroe. And that's good. A nice job in the glass as they pick up 2 on the 2nd effort.
They should continue to get the ball inside. The defense struggling to contain them.
And when you make 5 in a row in close like that, it also takes pressure off your perimeter guys, too.
Young outside. On the wing, Hill. And he's good on the 3-ball.
With the success they've been having from the 3-point line since halftime, I'll bet you that scoreboard starts to look a lot different real soon.
Partner, that's assuming they can continue that hot shooting. But if they do, and especially if they can get a few stops, you have to think they'll make this thing interesting.
Pacers trail by 12. A few possessions into the 4th quarter, just over a minute played. And the Pacers another 3.
And they're getting their points now almost exclusively from the triple. 4 of their last 5 makes are from beyond the arc.
And, Greg, it's hard for me to watch this. I mean, the defense practically giving them those shots.
Yeah, none too pleased with the play of his team. And you know what? They just need to get things sorted out.
Yeah, you know, there's not a coach around who would be happy with the way his guys kind of rolled over during this run.
Now a timeout called by Milwaukee.
And Jason Kidd has seen a lot of things in his first few years of coaching. Already changed teams once and it had some personnel issues, but you cannot deny that he knows how to get the most out of his teams.
As an update from the sidelines.
Thanks, guys. I got a chance to hear what Jason Kidd was saying to his team. His message was this: all of us know these guys are capable of exploding and putting up points in a hurry, so I don't want to see anybody letting up until that final whistle blows. Guys, back to you.
Parker's checked in for Vasquez. Now here's Middleton. It's Parker with the drive. Monroe, the pass to Carter Williams. And the 3 off target. And And with Kidd, the results on the floor, Greg, speak for themselves. He knows what he wants out of his players, Clark, and he keeps them accountable.
And, you know, having that accountability is what made the Bucks so much better last season. Kidd is still a very young head coach, but I tell you what, he's shown me a bright future in that capacity for himself.
Shooting for Indiana, Paul George. At the line for 2.
And the first one at the line is good. Well, Milwaukee last year became just the 9th team in NBA history to go from, Greg, being the worst in the league to a playoff team.
Unbelievable what they accomplished. And they had a tough matchup in the first round with the playoff season Bulls, however. Things didn't go well, but they did get some valuable experience from that effort.
Well, as you said, guys, I mean, the Bucks struggled early in their series against the Bulls, but they got the momentum and forced a Game 6, but then were blown out at home to end the series. Ended up losing by 54. That's right, 54. Wow.
Now Hill, after Chris Middleton missed from long range. Young with no one around. Allen outside. Outside Jefferson. And he sinks that one, hitting the back of the rim on the way in.
And as you said, the Bucks lost on their home floor. One thing about that series is the Bucks introduced their new logo. They gave away free playoff tickets to anyone that turned in their old red gear. Not a bad deal in my book.
And over 2.5 minutes in the books here in the fourth. And Young kicks to Jefferson. And there's the pass to George. And the layup's good off the glass. George has got 4 points in the quarter.
They're on track here in the second half after their less than impressive first half. I mean, I think they came out with some tired legs to start, but they've turned it around. They found some energy, and they look a lot more active and engaged.
And Craig Monroe with the slam.
Ready? And they just refuse to go away and really have slowly worked themselves back into the game.
Greg, I love the fact there's no quitting. I mean, they know they can't cut the lead down all at once. They're not trying to bite off too big a piece of the pie. They're chipping away at it, just banging at that rock, and trying to chip away at it. And so far, so good.
Antetokounmpo dishes to Carter Williams, and that one's good. And it's a 9-point Bucks lead.
Defensively, I think they've got to do a better job of bodying them up.
Clearly, they've been outclassed in the paint, really at both ends of the floor.
Time called here. Indiana decides to talk it over.
You know, he just, like every other coach, can't stand when the defense gives up points on the inside. And, boy, are they struggling in there.
Yeah, well, they're getting pummeled in there. So you've got to figure out a way to make some adjustments to try to change that around. And that's why he needed the timeout.
Ellis is checked in for Hill. Pacers trail by 9. The drive by Ellis. Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give him 2 chances at the free throw line here.
Yeah, way to play in attack mode and get to the line.
And, you know, the defense gets their money's worth on that foul, stopping the layup and not giving up the and one.
Start now, gentlemen. 2 shots. Move shots.
First one falls for him.
Take a look at what Ellis has done so far. He has 8 points, and he's contributed 3 points from the line, too.
And those free throws add up, guys. That is extra offense.
Both good from the line that time.
He has such terrific form and consistency on his free throws. Beautiful to watch.
Milwaukee leading by 7. And here's Middleton. Passes it to Carter Williams.
2-1.
And another basket for Milwaukee.
And thus far, they've managed to overcome an off game from him offensively.
Indiana, they're working against the clock right now. 1:49 left in the game. Screen by Jefferson. And Young kicks to Ellis. From past the arc. They get it back. Here's Allen. Oh, and there's the one-handed jam.
And the defense out of position on that possession, which allowed for him to get that offensive board.
Well said. Yes, he did. You're right, Greg. That's a tremendous jam on the putback.
What a great nose for the basketball he has, and such a strong finisher as well.
No, I tell you what, he earned his money on that foul.
Yeah, if you're going to foul, then make sure that you don't give a chance for the and one.
So the first one drops, and that stretches their lead to 8. And he hits both free throws here. So now it's a 9-point ball game for Indiana. They've gone 5 of 8 shooting as we've come down the home stretch in this final quarter. And so he earns a trip to the line. Officials saw the contact, and he'll shoot 2.
I tell you what, he earned his money on that foul.
Yeah, if you're going to foul, then make sure that you don't give a chance for the and one.
Yeah, I like that they haven't lost their aggressiveness here in the second, despite being down.
That's exactly when you need to be aggressive, Greg. You know that. I mean, another good job, though, of drawing contact and getting to the free throw line.
Bucks leading by 7. 1:14 left in the fourth quarter. Now Carter Williams. He dishes it to Antetokounmpo. Tries again, and Jefferson sends it back. Indiana's gotten off 4 3-pointers in the final quarter, and 2 of them have fallen. Buries it. Oh, and that cuts the lead to just 5.
And he'll take it right into the teeth of the D without thinking twice about it.
Middleton the pass to Carter Williams. Outside, Antetokounmpo. Back to Carter Williams. Tries a 3. Can't hit. And Indiana will go the other way with it.
Well, it's urgent time right now. This is when they got to come up big.
Yeah, you got to get points here. I mean, there's no way you can get around it. You've got to be able to get baskets here in a short period of time.
It falls. And so they foul intentionally.
That's his second personal. At the line for the Pacers, Chris Middleton. 2 shots.
And he cannot get the first one to drop. Tough one to miss. And he does get the second one. And that gives them a 4-point cushion. 24 seconds left in the fourth quarter of this one. Ellis goes in. Rebound by Parker. And they need to stop the clock, so there's a foul.
Yeah, you have to do that, though. You can't just let them dribble the game out.
Exactly. I mean, you got to stop the clock any way possible and hope they alligator arm a few of those free throws.
Shooting 2. Shooting 2.
Gets the first, and that puts them up by 5. So he goes 2 for 2 at the line, and it's a 6-point ball game.
And he just garnered a little bit more insurance there. Very confident as he's able to go up and knock those down.
Timeout called the Pacers.
They can't guard us on the perimeter. Spread the floor and isolate up top. Spacing, fellas. Spacing.
And I'm not sure the 2-point bucket does much here. I think they got to go for 3.
Yeah, it's no brainer, partner. I mean, that's their only choice. Shoot the 3 and hopefully get it down and then foul.
The drive by Ellis. Good! And now they trail by just 4. And they're going to prolong the game here with an intentional foul.
Shooting for Indiana, Chris Middleton. Taking 2 shots.
And that hurts as he doesn't get the first one to fall. Trying to focus now on the second. And he ends up making the second, and that puts them up by 5. Timeout called the Pacers. They trail by 5. 11 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Guys, what's your take?
You know what? And they're going to draw up something where they can get a quick shot and then maybe a foul.
That's got to be the game plan here. I mean, free throws are really their only hope. Points with the clock stopped.
And so it's Indiana with it, trailing by 5. He kicks it to Allen. A three-pointer off the mark. And they go to the intentional foul.
You have to foul, but I'm sure they would have liked to foul someone different.
Yeah, but Greg, they didn't really have another option. I mean, I thought they did a nice job getting it in his hands and making sure he was the guy who'd go to the line.
First free throw is good, and that increases their lead to 6. Second one is good. Getting both at the line, and it's a 7-point game. Time called here. Indiana decides to talk it over. Guys, what do you think?
And look, this one's out of reach. I don't know what they're thinking with this timeout.
Neither do I. I mean, maybe they're going over their plans for after the game. Who knows? But let's just get out of here.
And so the Bucks take the win. A truly gutsy performance away from home.
You know, it really was. And Kevin, when this one was hanging in the balance late, they showed just what a tough-minded group they can be.
And that'll do it, folks. This is Kevin Harlan saying thanks for tuning in. See you later.
The 2K Sports postgame show.
Many thanks, Kevin. So now we move on to our Jordan player of the game, Greg Monroe. He delivered quite a star performance. Not uncommon, as we've seen him have this sort of terrific night many times.
Greg Monroe was doing what he does best. He produced a massive game for them in locking down this win. The thing I like about him most is that a coach can use him in multiple ways. You can play him at power forward or center, and he can be just as good.
Well, he showed us just how good he can be when he's at the top of his game. And the building was stunned. You saw people leaving early, throwing popcorn, throwing hot dogs, spilling soda. He put on a CSDP, a crowd shut down performance. Man, that's what I'm talking about, Ernie.
And that's it for our broadcast here tonight. But we're just getting started on a new season in the NBA. For Shaquille O'Neal, Kenny the Jet Smith, Kevin Harlan, and the entire 2K Sports crew, I'm Ernie Johnson. We'll see you again soon.